Especially with all of the knowledge that we have in World of Warcraft now and how the story have played out now, we might find something of value. So
a servant of the old gods. Let us consume it. The Legion burrows deep here. If they burrow deeper, they may not like what they find.
See, there's constantly references of things under Azeroth. We have new whispers that we'll go through in a minute from Iridicon and Neltharion. It's not whispers, actually. It's things, sort of books in the game. But it speaks about something that is hidden underneath the Forbidden Reach that no one should ever go to. This is why they called it the Forbidden Reach. There's some kind of thing in there. Now, it could be that she simply referred to the Draktyr as what is hidden below there, but it could be something else. There's something under Azeroth. Now, again, you could say, well, they're just referring to N'Zoth here, but it might be far more than that, right? Because if I remember correctly, this was said somewhere in Val-Shara. If I'm not mistaken, I think this specific whisper comes from Val-Shara or from one of the Legion zones, which we know is not where N'Zoth was. So if they burrowed deeper there, they would not have found N'Zoth. Because we know that N'Zoth was all out into the fucking ocean, right? He was under the ocean. So therefore, what exactly is she referring to with the, if they go deeper, they will not like what they find?
So much fury in this soul. It will be a good harvest. Another tortured soul, long overdue for oblivion. I am more interested in his advisor, though. The recruitment of the Eridar was quite a win for Sargeras.
Just want to hear this. Just want to hear this again.
The Eridar was quite a win for Sargeras. He desperately needed more intelligence in his war host.
Okay.
A corrupted corpse of a dragon. How dangerous could that possibly be? Another mind-warped servant.
So this is now... now that we know, that refers to Galakrond. A corrupted corpse of a dragon, how dangerous could that possibly be? That refers to Galakrond because we now know that Y'Shaarj was behind the corruption of Galakrond. Or not Y'Shaarj, Yogg-Saron was behind the corruption of Galakrond.
Of Xavius. A druid should have better control of his own mind, don't you think? Xavius's tricks are cunning. Why reveal yourself when you can control from afar? It is possible N'Zoth may be responsible for her form.
It's possible the source. Oh my god. It's possible the source. Okay. Let's just give back 10 seconds here.
Warped servant of Xavius. A druid should have better control of his own mind, don't you think? Xavius's tricks are cunning. Why reveal yourself when you can control from afar? It is possible N'Zoth may be responsible for her form, but her arrogance is all her own. Behold the wasted power of the Titans before you, done in their name, no less. Odin was a great enemy, until his own arrogance proved his undoing.
See, this line always bothered me. Odin was a great enemy until his own arrogance proved his undoing. Because the only thing that could have referred to is Helia and him being locked inside, you know, his own realm. I don't know if it's the eye thing, but it's just always been... Odin was a great enemy, but what do we know about Odin's fight against the old gods? This is why it's always baffled me. We don't know anything about that story. What did Odin do to the old gods? What battles transpired? we now know that Odin lied and hid a bunch of information from us about his time against the old gods. But to what extent? What exactly happened there?
You should ask him if he has considered Loken's final words to him. Go ahead.
Words to Hitler. Holy shit. Oh, wow. YouTube, you have to fix your fucking shit. But I do like the fact that even YouTube's automated system thinks that Odin is literally Hitler. I like that. I do like that. If you ask Odin about Logan's final words, he actually he kills you. By the way, for those of you that didn't know.
Skovald seeks to join the ranks of the Destroyers, unaware that so many of those who dare are betrayed. The fallen aspect's lair is near. He was the strongest of them, and yet the easiest one for us to corrupt.
See, this is where I get why people think that Xal'atath may in fact be one of the old gods. Because she continuously speaks of us. The easiest one for us to corrupt. Now, the biggest question would be, us is the void. So she could just be referring to us as in the forces of the void and not necessarily us as in us old gods. Because we know that it was only N'Zoth that corrupted Neltharion. It wasn't the others. It was N'Zoth himself that corrupted Neltharion.
More of the Titans' failed experiments grow here unchecked. The Drogbar prove their failure as creators.
Wait, that's interesting. Hold up.
The fallen aspect's lair is near. He was the strongest of them, and yet the easiest one for us to corrupt. More of the Titans' failed experiments grow here unchecked. The Drogbar prove their failure as creators.
So there's a little bit more information now. We know that there were things that were created long before the Titans ever came to Azeroth. Xal'atath here exclaims that some of what the Titans created were failures, things that didn't work. Could it be that a lot of the Titans what the Titans tried to create came out as mindless? Because the Drogbar is pretty sort of primal, right?
The Tauren here are remarkably resilient to corruption, considering their origins.
I remember this. The Tauren are remarkably, considering their origins. This drove us nuts. Now, the question is, will we find out what their origins actually were from the new Bane questline? They do seem like, the Drogbar do seem like failed Earthen, Moni. Which, again, just makes you wonder, where does the actual Earthen come from? Where does the actual beings of the elements come from? When so much of what the Titans tried to create appeared to be, well, almost less than, if that makes sense.
I long for the day our masters can truly pass into this realm. You have only seen fragments, shadows, the faintest of echoes. Ask the ethereals what one of these manifestations is capable of. The nearness of the void here is comforting. I was used...
Our masters, but again, that she would say that as one of the void creatures. That doesn't necessarily prove that she is one of the old gods, does it?
in the sacrifice of many creatures in a place like this. Every death brought us closer to the complete corruption of this world. I remember the Dark Iron fondly. Modgood was so easy to influence, such was her hate. Imagine her fury when I abandoned her to the Wildhammer at the worst time. I can be very easy to lose. Remember that.
Yeah.
We may face some of my brethren in this conflict, a prospect that delights me. Their power will be mine. They will pay for what was done to me long ago.
Huh. This was said at Orgrimmar. That line. They will pay for what was done to me so long ago. That was said in Orgrimmar. When you enter Orgrimmar, those words are spoken. Let's just listen again.
A prospect I can be very easy to lose. Remember that. We may face some of my brethren in this conflict, a prospect that delights me. Their power will be mine. They will pay for what was done to me long ago.
Obviously, that's her being put in the blade. No? That has to be what she's referring to. The thing that was done to her was when they imprisoned her within the blade. We know that that's exactly what Rathian wanted to do with N'Zoth, was stab him with Xal'atath and then imprison him within the blade. Because the blade is ultimately a prison. Perhaps more evidence that Xal'atath is indeed our fifth old god. But she was too weak to fight off the other old gods, and as a result of that, she was imprisoned and used as a tool, and the only way she could ever be released was by serving N'Zoth, making sure that she delivered us to N'Zoth at the exact right time, because if you remember, after she delivered us to N'Zoth, N'Zoth finally gave her freedom. He finally allowed her to leave the blade.
The god of the deep writhes in his prison, breaking free ever so slowly. You should hurry and defeat the fallen titan. There are greater battles yet to fight. It is ironic that the weakest of us may be the ultimate victor.
The weakest of us. Again, that us. The weakest of us. Again, speaking to... Because here she is absolutely referring to the old gods. Dude, is she an old god? That's the question.
On Titan, there are greater battles yet to fight. It is ironic that the weakest of us may be the ultimate victor. Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Y'Shaarj, and... well, only one would remain to consume the world that was always meant to be.
She cuts off before she says N'Zoth, and we always thought it's because she didn't want to reveal him. But it doesn't mean that there's only one name left. Because she does say of us, the weakest of us. Of us suggests she is one of them. Because all of the other old god creations refer to the old gods as their masters. Because the old gods are their creators. The old gods created them, they are their masters, they serve these old gods. Xal'atath seems to be the only one that she doesn't serve. At least, she only served in order to gain her freedom. She did not serve as a... she did not serve because she was created or because she had to. Pobycotic, self-insert. Do we know who imprisoned Xal'atath? No. We have no idea. We know that it had to have been some of her brethren, because she literally just earlier said, they will pay for what was done to me so long ago.
Delicious. Every little death helps. Enjoy that? Boring. Did you feel it cease to exist? It was thought his kind was incorruptible. A lesson for my brothers, I suppose. Loken did fine work turning her, but in truth, Odin's arrogance takes most of the credit. Ymron was a fine tool. He did more to spread the blessing of flesh than any other of his kind. A beast of stone.
Yeah. She's talking about constructs. Because we did think that constructs wouldn't be corruptible. And still, they did manage to do so. What if what they've done to her is the gift of flesh, because she is the only one with a body? It's possible. Yes, Ymron.
Who ignorantly throws around power he barely controls. He should be put down before he ruins our plans. Though he is not one of our servants, he has heard our whisper.
One of our servants. She keeps saying our. It could just be that our suggests ours as in all void forces, but our could also be old god, actual old god.
They darkened him forever. The walls between realms are thin here, so easy to tear open. Do you know what would happen if true shadow and light met here? The research into the void here is commendable, but ultimately futile. How could you possibly understand what the Titans did not? I know the Naaru consider us horrors.
The Titans did not. Could you possibly understand what the Titans could not? Man, just listening to these, you sort of get the feeling like these whispers are going to become far more important in the months to come.
To be resisted. We do not share this view. They are merely beloved brethren that lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time.
They will return to their masters in time. Hold up. We've listened to this whisper many times over, but I think I have an idea of what she's on about here.
This view, they are merely beloved not. I know the Naaru consider us horrors to be resisted. We do not share this view. They are merely beloved brethren that lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time.
Is there a possibility, however slight, is there a possibility, chat, that the Naaru find their ultimate origin within the void? And that the light corrupted the Naaru and turned them into light? Here's why I say that. We have evidence of Naaru turning dark. And according to Locust Walker, the only time that ever really happens is when mortals are involved. Now remember, mortals carry the gift of flesh. A gift directly from the Dark Masters. Yeah, they are formless. Naaru and the void are needed for each other. There is no shadow without light. Yeah, but that's like getting into more of a real world discussion of it. The fact that Xal'atath here says, and she doesn't just say that they are brethren, she says that they are beloved brethren that have simply lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time. Dude, very interesting.
Oh, you've gathered quite the group of followers. It is fortunate they are focused on this incursion and not the true war. The scope of it might destroy your minds. Do the Naaru speak of the eternal conflict? That the entire history of your world is but a fraction of the time that has passed? Of those that came before the Draenei? No?
See that again. The eternal conflict. Because in this whisper, she speaks of the Naaru not as if they're beloved brethren, right? But as if they've been at war with each other since the beginning of time almost.
Avius uses the power of his new master well. Warping the mind of a demigod is no mean feat. Corrupting the guardians of the dream is a bold move, but Xavius may be overreaching. He would be better off quietly spreading the nightmare's influence instead of raising such alarm. Another seed of corruption planted in death. An unquiet spirit will wander in anger and grow in pain. Easy prey for the god of the deep. Almost completely gone, as if it never existed. But the rift is deep and vast, and somewhere down there it stirs.
Again, this refers to us being inside the Emerald Dream. And somewhere down there it stirs. Again, we know that that is not where N'Zoth was. There's another whisper that I want to highlight for you guys. N'Zoth, one of his whispers, I believe coming from Il'gynoth, speaks about Azeroth and how her dreams are our dreams. Now, the initial reading of that whisper is simply something akin to they have corrupted Azeroth, or they're close to corrupting Azeroth, and that this is now, Azeroth is now starting to dream their dreams. But what if it truly is the other way around? Our dreams are her dreams, in that our dreams are literally her dreams. She is the one that created us. And somewhere down there, it stirs. Everything speaks about something down there. If they keep going, they will not like what they find, even though they're nowhere close to where N'Zoth would be hidden in the Emerald Dream. If we keep going down there, there is something that stirs. What if Azeroth is ultimately the mother of the old gods? Azeroth isn't an old god. This is where my theory deviates from the other sort of old god theories. I don't believe that Azeroth is an old god. I believe that Azeroth is the mother of the old gods. She is the one that gives life. And from what we can tell, it is only the old gods that had that ability. The Titans could not create life. We heard it. Xal'atath here says it. Their experiments failed. When they created life, it was almost broken life. It was a cheap imitation of what had already existed. Azeroth, on the other hand, created the elemental forces. Azeroth created so much life. The dream itself is where life is created. And it, in my opinion, isn't a coincidence that it's called the Dream of Azeroth. Or Azeroth's Dream, because that is literally what it is. It's her dream realm. It's where she dreams. So what if she is the mother of the old gods? She created them.
Something has changed. The last prison weakens. We must prepare. It appears the prison of N'Zoth is...
Or we could go even more big brain, and we could start to fuse some of these whispers. Xal'atath says that the Naaru view us as horrors to be resisted, but we do not share this view. They are simply beloved brethren that have lost the true path, and they will return to their masters in time. What if Azeroth is the mother of all things? So when the Void states, when Xal'atath states that the Naaru have simply lost their way, she's not in fact referring to the Naaru ever being part of the Void, but rather to the Naaru not realizing that they are part of Azeroth and therefore they are part of everything. They are also part of the Void. They're not to be resisted. They're not to be hated because they are brothers at the end of everything.
Is not as strong as it once was. What you see is a tiny growth of the behemoth that may yet consume your world. Great dragons bent to the will of Xavius, who serves the god of the deep. Instead of breathing life, she consumes all around her. Another defender of the Titans brought low. Every death makes it easier. Perhaps now his misery will end, though I doubt it. Xavius, running from one master to the next, scrambling for power, yet defeated again and again. The god of the deep picks a poor champion. Or is there something else at play? A powerful dragon could be a powerful tool. Alas, gone are the days of Accolonn.
Yep.
These three have enjoyed the secret favor of N'Zoth for long enough. Sadly, their reaving days are done. Such arrogance, even for a long-lived elf. The taste of her life force is exquisite. She claims to know the future, but those who have lived far longer than her know the truth. Her desperate bid to remain in control dooms her people. Here is one who has caught the merest glimpse of your grim reality. It warped his mind forever. Long has this one's time been coming. A true servant of the fallen Titan, he seeks the doom of all things, as if that would really save them from the Void. An interesting amalgam.
Seeks the doom of all things as if that will really save them from the Void.
Nation of fell species. I wonder, are there more of its kind? An interesting mutation of an ancient species. Its shell is nearly impregnable. Nearly. The spawn of the Titans infest this area. Despite our gift of flesh, they still worship those false gods. Helya and her cult are strong here. So close to the truth, yet so far. Do not be impressed by tall icons of the Titans which stand here. The towers of sacrifice in Nyalotha dwarf these pathetic temples. This city of elves pales in comparison to the sleeping.
Again, to sort of fill in some color here, we now know, thanks to the book of Tyr that we found in Dragonflight, that there was civilization before the Titans arrived, and this gives even more insights into that. The Towers of Sacrifice dwarfs these Titan constructs. The Titans destroyed all of the quote-unquote civilization and destroyed all records of what was here prior to their arriving, because in their mind, nothing could have been created if it had not been ordered first. So they basically made it seem Like Azeroth was simply a place of chaos, where everything was destroyed and everything was getting destroyed. Not wanting us to know what Azeroth truly looked like.
City. Suramar. Its noble citizens, greedily slurping at their world's very lifeblood. The fallen elves cower behind their wall. They know no other way. To see Yogg-Saron's nightmare in full bloom fills me with jealousy. And some pride. Here you will see why the Legion's invasion is ultimately futile.
The way she speaks about the old gods, she doesn't speak in reverence to them, as if one would when one was created by them. She speaks about them as equals. She calls them by name. She gets jealous of their creations, but also a little pride for what they had created. Almost condescendingly so.
All can be corrupted, dreams and demons alike. The elves here are desperate to save themselves from the nightmare, while the demons seek to harness its might. Both will fail. When do you think she turned? Century.
The problem there, Digital Pope, would be that the children of the old gods don't really, they would have full reverence, because like the old gods, they were created within their image. So they would have been reverent. All of the other servants of the old gods we've ever heard have referred to the old gods as masters, or lords, or gods. They don't speak to them as equals, because they are not equal to those who have created them. They got locked in the house while the rest of the kids got to play outside. That's what it feels like to me. That's how this reads. When I listen to her whispers, she feels like a sibling.
Centuries ago, she hides her hunger for power behind a cloak of suffering and righteousness. This one is old, but still not one of the first. These creatures were too hungry for magic to obey our masters, though they still prove useful from time to time. Another fool who believed Illidan's lies of sacrifice and righteousness. Tormented, he turns on everyone. Her mother was more impressive. This one's hunger is uncontrollable, and her tactics overused. An easy target. Really? These thugs of Sargeras are so interchangeable. This one is good with his axe. Oh, how unique. How far the Manastorms have fallen. Relying on crude machines and weak arcane wizardry did them no favors. Still, they had their uses. For this idiotic pustule of N'Zoth to have lived so long, it does little to refute my opinion of this world's new owners.
The way she speaks, I can't help but think she is the fifth old god. Now, some of you have made mention during this. Why does she have a body when the others do not? Perhaps a side effect of the blade. That's my best guess. Her soul in the blade, body left behind. Well, she could use any body that she slayed, right? So perhaps her being in the blade, just her essence, no longer her form, her true form. She could take the image of one that she had slain before, and that's why we see her presented as an elf. Vitamin being big slimy beings. Dragons can use visage. Why not old gods? We don't have evidence of the old gods ever using visage, though. Truffle Shuffle. That would be the only reason why it's probably difficult to see how that would happen. The sacrifice, they're masked. They could probably have a body too, but that seems significantly weaker. Maybe. Can't wait for her update. Sexy mommy model in future expansions. Oh yeah, she's gonna look boss. Maybe she is the Void Lord and the old gods are her creations that trapped her. No, because she does say in one of her whispers, I cannot wait for our masters to truly walk this land. You have not seen them yet. So she does refer to the masters, in other words, the void, at some point. In a new Ultimate dungeon or using a spell called Curse of Stone. Is it safe to assume that the Titans actually turned original Azerothian races to stone metal? That's why they devolve so quickly when they stay away from any Titan influence. Zastan. Ooh, coming in here with the fucking curveball. Bro, what a thought. I would say it's highly possible. Yeah. I would say that's entirely possible. The Titans arrive. They gift the Curse of Stone in order to turn living beings into mindless servants. And the Titans then gift, or the old gods then gift the Curse of Flesh, which of course turns these beings back into flesh. It is interesting that both of these are curses. Now, the Titan's curse, the Curse of Stone. AK Cruiser, by the way, thanks for the follow. Truffle Shuffle, I did say thank you for the sub, right? What it could be is the old god creations would obviously be all over the place, right? They would look like old god creations. The Titans, in their constant quest for order, would then give them the Curse of Stone, turning them into what would look like dwarfs and, you know, the Titan constructs as we know them today. The Gift of Flesh would then turn those newly formed ordered beings back into flesh. And this is why we now have dwarfs and gnomes and things of that nature. That would be my assumption, at least. Rose Fox, by the way, tier 1, 3 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.